Andrea, fans wanted a movie in Buffalo. I just don't know if it was this one that they were expecting. Are you ready to talk?
Who's been asking for Buffalo? What?
The holiday touchdown
Nobody's been
Buffalo.
asking for that either.
Well, that's what I said. They've been wanting one, but they
Okay.
just didn't know which one it was that they really wanted.
Oh,
This is Eric.
this is Andrea.
This is Hallmark Mysteries and
And more.
more. Yes. Merry Christmas, Ted Cooper, which I don't know if it was publicized that it was Buffalo. Maybe it was. I don't know. But
Said New York. I don't
yeah,
know about Buffalo. Well, we are now 3 movies in. How would you fare the season thus far?
not bad. There hasn't been a movie where I'm like, oh, good God. Like even the Royal movie, while I don't think a Royal Montana Christmas is going to hold up. And at the end of the year, will we kind of all forget about it? Sure. But it's not like it was terrible. And I was like, oh, so painful. I can't get through this.
Hmm.
So, you know, that's fine. Like not every movie is going to be a home run. So as long as there's no real a private pris what was it, a private
Princess
Christmas,
Christmas.
the
Oof.
whatever that one was,
Oof.
Royal Private Christmas, I think that's what it was. As long as there's none of those ones that are just literally painful, can't watch. The only reason I'm stuck watching it is because of, we potentially are going to talk about it. So, all in all, I think it's
Well,
showing that the reduced number of movies maybe is leading to
better quality.
better quality. What about you?
I mean, it's fine. Like for me, it's just like an average. Like I'm kind of the same. Nothing has stood out to me, but nothing's been awful. So it's a very just average, fine. I am excited about Finding Mr. Christmas. I do want to watch. Probably I'll watch the baking show too. Okay, that's all you have to say. No
That's all I'm going to tell
spoilers.
you.
Okay.
Though you could listen to my interview with Sarah Drew on next Tuesday and hear a whole lot more. No spoilers, but we definitely do talk a little bit more.
Well, I'm excited. All right. Well, let's dive into Merry Christmas, Ted Cooper. This is the movie that just aired last weekend on the Hallmark Channel. A weatherman reunites with his high school crush while on vacation in his hometown. So I just took the IMDb quick one sentence. Um, for myself, I gave this a 3.5. I enjoyed it. Thought it was funny. It had good dialogue. Robert Buckley obviously was the biggest highlight for me. Actually, Brandon Petty was also a highlight for me.
I
Those
thought of
two
that
together,
when did you know he was going
so
to be in
good.
it?
I think I saw like a post. Yeah, I saw him in a clip, and I was like, oh, I didn't know until I saw social media spoiled it for me. But yeah,
I, yeah, I wish they would hold him. I did not know he was going to be in it, and as soon as I saw him, like, well, there's one check mark for Andrea. She's
I
going to be
know.
happy.
And those two together were great. I wanted more of that, more banter between those two. I love the premise of like Robert's character, Ted always getting into trouble and always having bad things happen at Christmas. The betting props by his coworkers, I thought that was fun. Maybe in today's age with the NBA betting thing, a little dicey to throw in some betting props. A little low. But what I think was my downfalls or why I didn't rate it a little bit higher was a little slow at times. There were some scenes where I was like, oh, this is really dragging on. And then the biggest one, and I didn't realize this until kind of after when I was trying to kind of formulate my thoughts for our show notes here. I realized when I watch these, I really like to like think I could be friends with the main character in some capacity, or like, oh, I could see myself like, I don't know, I have to have redeeming qualities about him. And I found for myself, Kimberly Sustad's character, Hope, just was like, she was kind of just not a great attitude for most of the movie. Like it's just someone I wouldn't see myself bonding with, or she was just a little bit too negative all the time. And for me, I'm like, that's exhausting. Like I don't want to be around you. And I don't want to have to be the friend who's always like, come on, buttercup, let's cheer up. You're okay. Let's look at life another way. And I get it, stuff happens. But like when you're just constantly kind of seeing the world through that lens, and obviously it's meant to like counteract Ted's positivity, so I guess I'm leaning more towards Ted myself. And I would obviously be friends with him. I'm like, yes, love it. Love the energy. Great. But then I just didn't feel like Kimberly's attitude the way that she played it just didn't match for me. And so that I could not get into that. I had trouble seeing her positives in that character. So that was my big downfall of it, is when I kind of reflected, I'm like, why don't I really love this? Because again, it had a lot of the pieces, but I think that brought it down. It was kind of exhausting to listen to over and over. And I wish she had a little bit, obviously she can play those characters. She's funny. She has played those characters before. So I wish I was a little bit more of that. And then I maybe would have given it a 4. Probably not a 5 still. I don't have anything that I love yet, but that's kind of where it lands for me. What about you?
A lot of it, and I texted you this. I thought that we'd be kind of similar. I gave it a 4. I liked it more than you. I agree with you, and some of which I'll touch into. But one of the things I really liked about it, and we don't see this a ton in Hallmark, but it was from sort of the male point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was what he was going through is primarily his story. So he had a lot more screen time than Kimberly. In fact, there were some chunks where we didn't see Kimberly. And I will disagree with you. I'll be friends with Kimberly any old day. So I don't care what she.
Well, yeah, but you're more negative than me, so that makes sense.
Well, not really. I am actually a pretty darn positive person. And in fact, I'm going through a big thing at work right now that's
You're
just
too
challenging.
positive. Oh,
That
okay.
I do try to find the good in humanity all the time, and when it just disappoints me, I don't know, a whole nother story. But the other thing, there wasn't really like an annoying conflict. There was a conflict, but it wasn't like the overheard thing. And I'll talk about it in a second. But they even made a joke about it, about how rom-coms always have that misheard, conversation
Yeah.
stuff. So I like, that little thing. The other thing, Russell Heinlein, who wrote this, he definitely knows how to do those quirky side characters. You had the older lady and all their little walkers and their tracksuits. They were fantastic. I thought the sister was the perfect balance for Buckley's character. She wasn't too much one way, but she was a little more grounded than he was. Yeah, Kimberly's boss, Sydney, who, like you said, she was kind of where you said would be exhausting, where she's constantly trying to push her to be more positive, more open-minded, this, that, and the other. But I thought she did a great job. And then, yeah, Brendan Penny and the whole sort of newsroom were just great. And like throwing back those digs back and forward was fantastic. And then Ed, the limo driver, I don't know why. I just loved his whole character and that whole limo scene. Like,
Oh
I
yeah,
would
that
love
was
to
good.
walk out and get into like, wait, my ride share is a limo, and then get into it and it'd be the party van kind of thing. So that was great. My favorite line of the whole one, which is something you may be, well, I don't know if you can relate to in one way, but it's when they're talking about sort of their revealing their insecurities and everything. And Kimberly's is, I am 3 inches taller than I'm comfortable with. I just found that
I
kind
am
of
not Eric. Thank you. I am
a
5'10".
funny.
I am very comfortable being
Well, that's why I
5'10".
said
But thanks, Eric.
no, 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 no. My point was, and that's why I said why you can, but you won't, because I know you're comfortable with being tall, but you're her
Taller.
same exact height, right? So I just found that her, sort of relating to what it's like being a tall female and stuff. And I know you don't have an issue with it, nor should you have an issue with it. Um, but what kept it from being a 5 for me is exactly what you said, the pacing. I think if they could have just tightened up the overall pacing, the jokes would have landed even a little bit better. And then there's the one which I was so excited for when they went to the escape room. And I wanted to escape the escape room because
Yeah,
it
that
just
scene went
it
forever.
that one needed tightening up because for a great scene that had a lot of fun, you had the guy fall asleep, and I think the rest of us sort of took a little, you know, snooze for it there. And then you kind of mentioned it too, but I have a little bit different thing with Hope. For me, when she got sort of upset and said like, you know what, this isn't going to work, she got mad at him for being this eternal optimist who always looks at the bright side. And when she was confessing her, insecurities about being tall, he said, I am a chronic people pleaser brought on because my mom left. And so I've always been trying to, please and do all this and be internally happy. So she knew what it was all the way, up until then. And then for her to be like, you know what, you're this kind of person. He flat out told her he was and why he was. So I didn't like, for some reason, and I love Kimberly, but I just didn't like her in that moment because I think that was a very bad
Maybe she
reaction.
fell asleep when he was talking to her in the sleigh too.
There you go. That makes sense.
Oh,
But like I say, all in all, I thought it was a really strong movie, the strongest one of the year, and had a lot of good laughs. And it wasn't, like I say, while the pacing could have been better, it wasn't slow by any means. Although, like I said, that one scene, but it could have been tighter.
I will also shout out the sister. I really like that they had the sister, like, not married, no kids. Like, that was just her house. I was like, when are the kids and the husband going to come
Right.
running down the stairs? And I was like, oh my gosh, I love that. Like, it was just a single sister, like, just living in her home. And it's a great house. And I loved that they had that because rarely do we see that on Hallmark. So
You're right.
shout out to that.
Or it's often
Um,
the sister who's married, but yet you never see the husband. But
yeah,
they
and the
always
kids
talk
come
about it.
and yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can't afford him, but he exists.
Yeah. So I appreciated that. So we are going to do, obviously, we usually do our mystery minute, but we're changing it to Christmas feels for our Christmas
I
segments.
sent you my mistletoe moments.
Yeah, I went with Christmas feels. So I didn't know what you meant. I was like, does this mean like a kiss? We're changing romance roundup to a kiss and mistletoe moments. So I thought you meant it to that
Uh,
category. I thought
uh,
it fit there. Well, Christmas feels for myself, I thought it was good Christmas feels. Like they had decorations everywhere. They had decorations in the hospital. The escape room, I love that they had the Santa's workshop as the theme. I think they could have done that up even a little bit more, maybe. I did, they commented like it's very industrial looking. So, but I think they could have really like overdone the Christmas escape room a little bit more. I loved his sweater, Robert's sweater, when he had the college girl's suitcase and he has that little small Christmas sweater. That gave me feels because I'm pretty sure I had Christmas sweaters that were like that when I was a child. But I love that he put it on. He's cooking with it. And then somebody did comment on my Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, that is a good point," because he's like, "They never really switch back suitcase." I mean, he just commented that he bought new clothes and
yeah, I thought it
just.
was actually kind of creepy that he was wearing her, like went into her suitcase and kept
I thought
wearing
it
her
fit his
clothes. I
personality,
agree, but
but
like
yes.
getting your clothes back and knowing that he had
And he
worn
never
them.
even cared to like get them back. Like he was just like, all right, let's just buy new clothes. Like I would be
Yeah,
like, no wait, like it was my favorite sweater. Like, excuse me, I want
yeah.
that back.
But it was funny. I mean, it was a good gag, but if
Yes,
you think too hard about it, it won't
correct. Then
matter.
you're like, wait, there's some holes there, but okay. So for myself, it was good. I honestly though, if I'm looking at like Christmas feels, I probably would put the Angel Matchmaker one. I had a little bit more Christmas feels for that. And I'm not sure why. Like when I think about these movies, like the more I kind of think back, I'm like, ooh, that Matchmaker Angel one might be even quite even with this movie, like in terms of which one I liked as much. Because I we talk about this, how sometimes time away from movies makes us like, oh, I actually do appreciate that one a little bit more. So I do find myself kind of thinking of that one even more so than this one. Not sure why. That would just be my quirks of like the hot chocolate and little angel scenes. And I enjoyed those Christmas feels. I love a little cafe. So those stuck out to me a little bit more when I kind of was thinking about this movie and the Christmas feels I got from it. But what did you get?
I have exactly everything you said there, other than thinking that the Christmas Angel match was better. I think Benjamin Ayres' character
You
did
like
not.
that movie better than this?
No, no, no.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the only thing I disagree with everything else you said. I thought it had, like you said, all the good Christmas feels in this one. I love your idea of really going over the top with the escape room with the Christmas. That would have made it even funnier.
Yes.
The I'll just say I think that they misused Benjamin Ayres and Christmas there because he
Mm.
spent the first part being kind of unlikable and jerky, I thought. And he's charming and like he should have been like likable the whole time. And so that was my big complaint. But we're not reviewing that movie, so let's just get into a little romance roundup, shall we?
Or mistletoe moments, shall we?
Okay.
See, I thought you were sliding that in there. I like the mistletoe moments
All
for
right, you're right.
like
It actually does
for
fit
our
the
holiday.
moment.
Like
Yeah.
I feel like
Okay.
that I'm changing
All
it in my
right.
notes. So we're
I'm
gonna
a
like
chronic people pleaser, so I will let you have it.
on the fly, Eric and I just edit our own podcast. So for myself, I thought they had decent chemistry. Again, it's not like spicy. Like it felt like Hope had a wall up. And so like there was the chemistry of like you're melting the wall a little bit. There was not like that steaming, smoking hot kiss chemistry that we saw in like the Montana one. There was,
Yeah.
a little bit more chemistry there. So it was fine. It's not, again, sometimes I think it's hard. Like Robert Buckley, Like he can play that smoking hot chemistry, I think.
Really?
Like even when I think about One Tree Hill, I'm like, he
Oh
never
yeah, I never saw
really
it.
he never really had that like ooh, like oozing out of him towards Chantel. So I both of these together, maybe not the strongest when I think about who has good chemistry with people. These two are not ones who automatically stick out in my brain. So that makes sense why together they were building up. We'll call it building up chemistry.
I like them because I found them like both kind of like flirty towards each other. But like you're right, they're not steamy hot
Yeah.
like Warren
Like a friend
Christie
vibe.
is
Oh
like
yeah,
that
Warren
dude,
Christie
he brings it,
is.
right?
Yeah,
Whereas this was, but
yeah.
I found there like a big authenticity in the way like they sort of went at like they didn't deny like they found each other cute and attractive. I found it really fun when they are looking through the yearbook and there's the big heart and she's
Mm-hmm.
like pauses, but then just keeps going on and then comes back. She's like, wait a minute. So yeah, I had a heart. Oh, did I? You know, like so they had fun with it, but they
Yeah.
never it wasn't yeah, like any spicy. It wasn't like bring the heat, but it was a very cute, fun, flirty relationship. And it was good. And I think I I find it hard to think of Robert Buckley bringing the heat because he just seems like sort of more
He
of
was
a likable like his character there. I don't find him probably being too much different in real life. Maybe I don't know.
Lipstick Jungle. Did you ever watch that? I'm pretty sure that was the name. So
Ser-
he was in
Seriously, you're
that.
asking me if I've seen Lipstick Jungle.
Oh man, it was a one season show, 2008 to
Oh, so it's a show,
2009.
not a movie. Okay.
No, it was a TV show. I loved it. Unfortunately, sometimes my husband always makes fun of me. I always like grasp onto these shows and they get canceled after a season.
Absolutely.
Like Men in Trees is another one, but like Brooke Shields was in it, and so was
Lipstick Jungle.
Robert Buckley. He was in 20 episodes, so I think the whole thing. And that's where he does play like a steamy, hot,
Really?
smoking dude. So I can't remember it because again, that was a long time ago. I would kind of like to go back and just see how his character played. But yeah, so if you want to see a younger Robert Buckley, Lipstick Jungle. And again, I thought it was kind of a cute show. Well, coming back into our movie is character corner. My character I picked for me, the standout, was Ruth, the old high school teacher. I love how she commented, well, we all knew you had a crush on Hope in high school, and I always think of that when I think of like the teachers. We had this teacher who totally thought me and this guy in my class like were dating and we weren't, but like we would flirt with each other. And he was always like, well, you two. And we kind of look at each other. We're like, no, we're not dating. We wanted to date, but we like, it's the high
You're in
school
high
thing.
school. Right.
And so it was so funny because teachers can totally sense that. But as a kid, you kind of don't think that. So I found that to be cute how she voiced that now as an adult and they're adults. I liked her little walking group. I like the 80s tracksuits and how she kind of was flirting with that tree farm guy.
Oh
Like
yeah.
she was kind of like, oh yeah. And I'm like, this is adorable. So she was my highlight for sure. I enjoyed her. What about you?
I almost went with Ed, but then I figured he needed more time to do. But the I went with
Ed.
Sydney, the limo driver.
Okay.
Ed, who is Ted. I went with Sydney, Hope's boss, because that's she played by Reedon Elizabeth. And the reason why I did is because I loved how the fact she was in a wheelchair, but they did not address it at all. There's no scene, there's no comments, there was just nothing. She was just the character who she was. And that's exactly how it should be. Unless there's a reason for it to really propel a story element, this should just be exactly who she is. And, in this day and age, a lot of times people like you have to be so politically correct that you call it out like, hey, look at us. We are being inclusive. I like the way I like just being inclusive rather than pointing out we're inclusive. So loved the casting on that. Kudos, Hallmark. That is exactly the way to do it.
All right. Well, Hallmark trivia time. I thought I would go with you always
I
like
bring I bring the heat on this one.
okay. Well, you always connect to why am I blanking on her
April
name? April
Telek.
Telek. I almost said Rachel. Who's Rachel?
I'm sure she's played a Rachel.
I know, right? So Robert Buckley has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And he's just like me. He's a big basketball and tennis fan and regularly plays both. Me too. Actually, I don't play basketball anymore. I watch more basketball than I play. I do play tennis though. He is best known for his role as Clay Evans on One Tree Hill, whom he played the boyfriend slash at the end fiance to Quinn James, who was played by Chantel Van Senten, who is from Laverne, Minnesota. And she was formerly married to Vic Webster.
I
So I
know.
brought in lots of Hallmark slash Minnesota ties, and Laverne is like a 4,000 person town in like the southern small corner
Wait,
of
that's where
Minnesota.
that Chantel is from?
That is where she's
A
from.
little interesting because
Little
she looks
4,000 people in the middle
interesting.
of
She
like
looks very
nowhere.
cosmopolitan.
No, nope, she is
Yeah.
from small town Minnesota. So I am like 4 counties away from her. I'm like, well, that is just fun.
That's just a little truck or a tractor ride.
That is a long tractor ride, Eric, but I like your optimism.
Well, my great in-depth
Oh boy.
journalistic trivia is Lackawanna is actually a real city south of Buffalo.
Is that why
Is
you have that behind you as your
yeah,
YouTube background?
exactly. I was convinced
Funny.
it sounded like a funny name, and so they went with this fictitious Lackawanna,
Is
but
that Green Castle like actually in that town?
apparently so.
That's cool. They
You should
should
go
have done some
visit.
filming there. That's a fun little castle church. I'm not sure what it is, but looks fun.
But because you asked for it,
Oh
I will
boy.
give you my degrees of April Tulloch.
Okay.
Brendan Penny was in Time for Them to Come Home for Christmas alongside April Tulloch. I only had to go one.
Wow. That is good. That is good.
I'm
Well,
still,
now,
I keep forgetting to ask her if she's been in a movie with Lacey rather than going through her whole
right.
190 credits.
Well, Hallmark and Chill, what would we recommend that is similar to this movie? Personally, I kind of mentioned this one before, but Every Christmas Has a Story, the 2016 movie, which stars Lori Loughlin and Colin Ferguson, who both starred in Mysteries, Garage Sale, obviously with Lori, and then Fixer Uppers with Colin. I love this one. This is one that I actually do watch like every year. I find it to be a fun little movie, and it's got the reporter. I mean, Lori's the reporter, and Colin is kind of like the behind the scenes guy, and they're going to the small town with the Christmas. Have you seen this one or no? You're looking at me like no.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm sure I
You'll have to
have.
watch it. It's super
Okay.
cute. And I do kind of miss like this one makes me miss Lori Loughlin on Hallmark, though. I do wish she would come back and do some movies for Hallmark because I mean, I think she's served her time, and I think
I
it's we
agree.
can forgive and move on. Like so has Martha Stewart, and we all forgave her, and she's moved on. And I just feel like it's time to turn that page because she is a good actress and can really bring it and bring back Garage Sale while we're
And
at it.
she, unlike some of the others, she would be easier to do because she hasn't latched on and said, "Hey, I'm a GAF," person,
No,
like whatever.
I think she's just trying to
The
get some
she's just
money.
working.
She's
She's
going through a
a
divorce right now too. So
right. I mean,
yeah,
she's Cindy Busby. She's just working actor who, it's a tough business, and you go where the paycheck is. So yeah, I have no problem with her coming back. Mine was I just went with Russell Hainline, who you sort of get it a lot of his sort of quirky, fun things with the great side characters. So the Santa Summit, the Santa Class, and of course the hit of the year last year, Hot Frosty over there. I think it was Netflix, right?
it
Or,
was.
yeah. So he wrote all those ones too. So you get a lot of the sort of that same vibe along with those movies. Well, Hot Frosty, you get definitely a little different because it's a Netflix, so you can push it a little bit more, but it's still quirky and all that sort of good stuff.
Agreed. Well, let's see what the viewers thought. Did they agree with either of us? So, 5 out of 5, 48% of people loved this movie. 4 out of 5, it was good, was 29%.
So
Three out of
we're basically
five,
almost 80% right there.
3 out of 5, middle of the road was 21%. And then 1 or 2 was 2%, not the best. So for the most part, people really enjoyed this one, gave it a 4 or 5. And I said, I mean, people did comment on my Instagram. Most of the people that commented also agreed with what I said. So I'm sure they probably were the middle of the road voters with me. Um, And then I mean, I had other
Well,
people who
actually, your
who enjoyed
review,
it.
unless you look at the number, your review is a little more positive sounding. Like I would have
And
put you as the four. I was expecting you to say four. So,
I mean, again, I didn't hate it. I just
uh,
it was just the main thing was the Hope character. Like I want to be besties with this Hallmark female leading lady, and I just couldn't see that. I'd be besties again with Ted, which was fine. But usually, I
I
enjoy the male as well. Like usually, they don't play a male where I'm like a leading guy anyway, where I just don't see any redeeming qualities. So,
I will take one for the team and be besties with Kimberly.
well, and again, not her. It's the character. I totally would be besties with her. The character she played. So let's put that out there. All right. Next episode, we have two movies coming out next week, which is Christmas on Duty, which, to be frank, I am not looking forward to at all. What about you? Ezra's in that one.
I really
Yeah.
just to help out even more. I
Yeah.
I want to like it. I think Janelle Parrish is elevated to one of the best Hallmark actresses, but I agree. I just that plot line. But here's what I am saying. I am saying I holding out because I once again I'm the optimist.
He's
It's going
being
to be that
Ted
movie.
Cooper.
It's going to be that movie where we're like, what the hell? How did this one turn out to be so damn cute? So I'm holding out that we're going to be surprised, but
Okay.
my expectations are very low.
Mine are also very low. So anything above like a 1 star, I will be pleasantly surprised. Um, A Newport Christmas is the other movie airing, which that is the movie we will be reviewing next week because that was in my top 5 most looking forward to. So fingers crossed. And now again, this is also where we're like, obviously, my expectations for the first one very low. Expectations for the second one very high. So we will see that sometimes that is actually a downfall because then if it doesn't live up to those expectations, we feel disappointed. So I'm hoping that it does well because we all love Wes Brown, Warren Christie, whoever it is.
And then don't forget, as I alluded, we also talked to Sarah Drew to get ready for Mistletoe Murders coming out next week. November 7th has finally arrived.
Ooh, it's a
We'll
Friday. So it will air on
have
Saturdays for us. Ooh, that's great because Saturday mornings is my only day. Like I don't work. Otherwise, I work like 6 days a week. So I am very excited because that will make
and,
me want to really enjoy.
and they're keeping up the 2 episodes release at a time. So you'll get to watch the full
Oh,
mystery
that's interesting. So you'll watch. So
back to
on
back.
Hallmark Channel, they're going to air 2 hour block of both episodes. Huh. Okay, I like that. I do like that switch. I like it. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that tea, and we'll spill our tea after we watch a little bit of Finding Mr. Christmas. At least I will. I'll share my picks and my son's picks because
I will
we
be right
love
there
to
with you.
watch it together. So I'm
I got my
excited.
wife to watch it last year. She got
I
all into it, and then she
remember
was all annoyed,
I
as like
know,
the rest of us.
everyone. And we'll get to watch Ezra next weekend. So just a very full circle moment.
Okay, until next time, Andrea.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark Channel.